Hi, my name is Ricky, and I'm the Vice President of Sales for Townsteel Electronics. Um, Townsteel is BHMA, board member on the, we have a seat on the board of directors of BHMA. We're an architectural hardware manufacturer. We've been doing this for over 35 years, based out of Southern California. We're known around the industry, if you will, for our ligature-resistant line of locks. Perhaps you've heard of 3-point and 5-point ligature-resistant suicide prevention type locks. We also have our full electronic side, where I've been working for the last couple of years, partnering with UHS here in Florida to help get our locks out to the market. I'm showing some of those off today. Here at UHS, if you buy any of our locks and our products from them, you get 10% off of what the cost. Just going through them pretty quickly. This is our cylindrical base. We have cylindrical locks, we have mortise locks, we have exit devices, we have closers. We also sell hinges as well. So in the electronic world, we have our cylindrical electronic locks. Let's say you have a door on a facility, someone has a door, we'll use an office for an example. You want to secure a room, or you want to secure certain aspects of the room. So there's a standard passage set on there now, as we call it, just a standard tubular cylindrical lock. Elite is the perfect lock for that application. So this is the 2000 version. We also have the out-of-the-box 4000 version. 2000 version has the 10 keys on it, 4 to 6 digits for a PIN code for access. It fits on a standard cylindrical prep. So if you know your doors, a 161 prep, it fits right on. The batteries, 4 AA batteries, power the lock in here. You're looking at about a 2.5-year lifespan on your batteries. And as there are lights. See, there's the sad face, the red light. As the batteries start to get to die, the battery power starts to die, the lock will tell you. So you don't ever have to worry about being locked out. Again, 4 AA batteries, average 2.5-year lifespan, fits on a standard prep. We have other options as well. If you want to have the keypad, this keypad is muted, and of course it's not plugged in. If you're installing this lock, you take a standard cylindrical lock off. This fits into the prep like we're talking about, and these jumpers go through to give you the electronic connectivity that you want to connect the battery pack and connect the memory. So you can use multiple credentials with this. There's an app that Townsteel has. You can use cards, fobs, whatever you choose to use for access for this type of electronic. So this lock with that face. And then we have our Xce Lock. These are our 2 biggest sellers in the commercial world. So if you look at our competition like Alarm Lock and Cabo, their locks are twice as thick. We have a sleek design that fits on the door, still powered with 4 AA batteries. You still have the 10 key on here, 4 to 6 digits for a PIN code for access. And all of our locks have mechanical key override. We also have our electronic Deadbolt as well. So this is one of our top sellers. I primarily focus on the multi-housing and institutional world. So I deal a lot with property management companies. I deal a lot with end users, if you will. And when it comes to the electronic Deadbolt, one of the things that sets us apart is that our electronic Deadbolt is motorized as opposed to a cylinder. So you have your connections that go through, you present your credential, and the deadbolt throws. When you leave, present your credential, the deadbolt throws again. Because it's motorized, it pushes with a stronger force. If you're familiar with the solenoid that kind of clicks and can get stuck and have a failure rate. And again, all of our locks have mechanical key override, whether it's large format or small format interchangeable. The lock that I wish I had, I don't have here with me, is the interconnected lock. So if you have someone that's on a property, for example, and they're wanting to replace entryways, like let's say that it's an apartment complex. On the residential doors, where there's a deadbolt and a passage set, they're wanting to replace the hardware. Well, the interconnected lock actually replaces both pieces of hardware. It's in our catalog. Also on our website at townsteel.com, or you can go to uhshardware.com. There we go. Again, you can go to uhshardware.com and see this, or you can go to townsteel.com. Hopefully that comes through. But You have the deadbolt and you have the patchet set, and it's a one-motion egress. So when you're leaving, it meets fire code, of course, but you can come right out. You can throw the deadbolts. Townsteel has the patent on 2 points of locking, so the patchet set locks as well as the deadbolt locking as well. That's hugely important, and you can get it electronically. And we also have developed a mechanical interconnected lock as well. So in case they don't get the electronics, which is common in some areas. And then as far as the rest of the lines that we offer, we have our standard closers, hinges, regular deadbolts, regular hardware. So anything that you need, so have it. Anything with UHS today, it's 10% off. You come here and get into our products. Is it running live or is it so it's live? So I can just keep talking. Got it. Wasn't sure. So when it comes to the electronic side of the world, which is my focus, particularly you get in the multi-housing and commercial side, Townsteel has a full platform that we've been taking to market for the last year and a half. UHS is one of our first partners with that product, and that's the Max Access system. When you think about an apartment or you think about hospitality or lodging, you have common access areas, like you would have a pool gate, for example. You would have a laundry room, a fitness center, if you will. Then you'll have the units, where the units, as we call it, where the residents would actually live. So we make a product that will go on each one of those certain areas and tie it all together with the Max Access software. It's very user-friendly software. You can manage multiple properties if you needed to. There's a cloud-based option if you wanted to have your information stored in the cloud. However, we're finding that more and more property management companies are wanting a more localized solution because we do have the app capability. You can have that electronic remote access to your unit or to your fitness center or whatnot without having to have all of your information stored somewhere by someone else. So we want that kind of utility. So with the Max Access platform, we can do mortise locks again, do cylindrical locks, and have the cylindrical locks today. But I mentioned it earlier, one of the things Townsteel is known for is our mortise locks. We manufacture a very large percentage of the mortise locks in the market today, both mechanical and electronic. Oh, yeah. And I mentioned this earlier. I showed this lock again for the Xce Lock. This is the 2010 version. You can get it in rigid or clutched handle, depending on what the application would call for. But the escutcheon is another important part. So if you're changing out a lock, say you're changing out a regular Sargent's, changing out a regular cylindrical lock, and you want to put an electronic lock on, you won't need a faceplate anymore to cover up any door work that's being done because our escutcheon covers that. Our chassis, which marries up to the door, has pre-drilled holes on it to marry up to any of our competition's products that may be on. If you're replacing Townsteel, if you're replacing one of our competitors with our locks, you would just cover it up, and there's no extra work that needs to be done at the door. I think that's the most important thing, especially for locksmiths. There's no extra work that has to be done at the door when you're installing our locks. We've made it pretty user-friendly. And again, the fact that our locks are sleeker, they're not as bulky as some of our competition because we've been able to really fine-tune the engineering internally and create a more sleek, lock. Here's an example. This is the E-Elite cylindrical lock, like this version here. This is the 4000 keypad version, the reader version, if you will. Now, if this were plugged in, I would tap it and the screen would come on. You'd see the code, see the numbers, and you can punch it in. A few things about that. Some people prefer to have a keypad they can touch. They actually can feel it and it's raised buttons around. There are people who do like this version because you run your hand across it to turn it on. But the way that our keypad is made, and I wish I could show you this, it does not, the fingerprints do not say it's matted. So the fingerprints don't stay or get stuck. We use these for ExxonMobil down in South Texas and some of their locations. So you don't, if you walk up behind somebody, you can't see where they punched in the numbers before. And if you look, again, the electronics and everything are right in there. And compare, based on compared to our competition, you can see it's a much more well done lock. It's sealed for any weatherproofing issues, like if you're thinking about moisture or the elements. The way that our board is designed is it's sealed in so that you don't have to worry about any of those issues. Our factory is based in Southern California, so we test these in California. We test our locks against the California sun and the winds that are very high out there. We have these locks installed in Alaska. We have them installed here in Florida. So as far as the weather testing, weatherproofing goes, we've definitely got it covered. And then just to go to our regular hardware, our basic hardware, this is our DVD deadbolt. And again, everything right now is 10% off with UHS if you decide to go with Townsteel today. But again, standard grade 1 deadbolts. Our mechanical hardware offers a 10-year warranty on all of our mechanical hardware. So depending on what you need, what you're looking for, definitely give Townsteel a try. Another thing, quickly, that's what I was going to talk about. For our back set on our cylindrical deadbolts, it's adjustable. So if you're familiar with residential doorways, the back set on a deadbolt is either 2 3/8 inches or 2 3/4 inches. It's the distance it sits from the door. With ours, it's field adjustable. So if you get one and you think it's 2 3/8 inches, you get out to install it and it's 2 3/4, no worries. We've got that covered. So. And again, I wish I had one with me. I don't have one with me right now. But our electronic mortise locks, those are some of our top sellers in the country for multi-housing, especially for lodging military bases. We do a lot of work in military bases all over the country and all over the world. And with our Max Access software, it just makes it easy to tie together. Very user friendly. Any kind of custom reporting you would want to do. Most property management companies, whether they be condos or they be HOAs that we've worked with, they want to be able to have that audit trail. They want to be able to go into the software and pull off that who's been at the door. That's the whole reason people go with electronic locks anyway, whether it's you for your home or whether it's someone for an apartment complex. They want to know what's happening at the door at all times. And with electronic hardware, electronic locks, you can do that. And with Townsteel, we make it really easy. When you use the app, you can pull the app on your phone. It's just a few buttons. You push it, program the lock, pull your information down, and hopefully next time I'll be able to actually show you those, go into greater detail. Again, you can go to UHS Hardware's website, or you can also go to townsteel.com and see some of these things we've talked about. So, okay, yeah, sure. And mentioning the electronic locks, as far as when it comes to credentials, again, you can use the classic card, RFID card. Our cards are 1K and 2K, so they don't get erased next to a cell phone. The old MagStrike cards, there are still some companies that use those. Ours, you just present the credential to the lock, and then it opens. We also have the capability, something that's unique to us, for dual authorization. So you can have a dual credential authorization. Let's say, like the City of Miami Lakes, I'm working with them right now. Let's say that their police department's wanting to install some electronic locks. Well, they don't just want to be able to just have a keypad to get in. It's a little more secure than that. So perhaps they want to have to make them enter in a code and then present a credential at the same time. So that's another benefit of our electronic hardware. I'm trying to find. Our new catalogs will be out soon, which is fantastic, which has everything all in one place. Right now we have our electronics set up. When it comes to our mortise locks, especially on the electronic side of the world, design is pretty much everything. So we have our e-Contos. I don't know how well this will come through on camera, but we have our e-Contos lock, which was designed to cover the footprints, like I mentioned with the Xce Lock. in the chassis that goes on the door, there are pre-drilled holes. Let's say there was a Caba lock there in the past. Let's say there was a Ving card or an Onity lock there. Well, we've been able to put those holes in for our chassis, so when you put it on the door, it covers up, it matches perfectly. So there's no extra work that needs to be done at the door. You don't have to put a faceplate underneath. And much like the Xce, our escutcheon covers a world of sins. So if there's anything on the door that's scratched up, the escutcheon looks good. And this is, it's also good in new construction. But these are our military-based big seller with the mechanical key override. And the other thing I didn't mention earlier, that our locks come in our electronic locks come in a multitude of colors. So depending on what aesthetic you're looking for, what aesthetic the end user is looking for that you may be working with. Flat black is really hot right now, 622. Everybody's asking for that. We have all of these multiple colors. You can have up to 70 different lever styles. Townsteel's designer hardware. And then we have our multiple color styles as well. So there's really not an application that we can't work with. Because we've been in the industry for 35 years, designing and working with architectural hardware, doing OEM work, and then our own line, of course. There's really nothing we haven't seen. So we're able to put it all together in a nice package. And again, here with UHS, very glad to be working with them. They've been fantastic working with us since I started a couple of years ago, doing a lot of good work for us. I know they have a big reach, and they're doing really good things. When it comes to the regular hardware, we have our standard, can I open it? Standard heavy-duty closer. So you're familiar with the other names of closers in the market. I don't have to say those. You have the exact same grade 1 standard closer, a heavy-duty closer that you would see from some of our competition. Ours, it's basically the same. It fits in exactly the same footprint as the main company that you're thinking of right now. And our price is about 70% less. So again, I'll restate that everything at Townsteel is manufactured and assembled in California in the United States. We keep stock there, and UHS is our, one of our largest distributors that we work with for covering everything here for us, and then they certainly cover the whole eastern half of the United States for us. So what else can I tell you about? Something else that I don't have here, and I know we're focusing on electronic locks today, but this is a huge thing that I've been talking about in my travels throughout the country, is copper-based hardware. You've probably seen or heard of the silver ion-based hardware that's out there. We actually have a copper-based cylindrical and mortise lock for depending on antimicrobial, antibacterial type of clean room functionality. We have some hotels that are using it right now, some small clinics that are using it right now that are really interested in that in multiple cities around the country, where it's actually copper hardware. So we've been able to come up with that. It's something really neat. I wish I would have brought one with me. I didn't think about it, but I've been trying to tell everybody about it. Something to check out. You can always go to UHS hardware site, or you can ask any questions about it, or of course, if that fails, you can certainly look us up on townsteel.com. I'm not sure if that comes through over there, but that's our whole corporate housing side of the lock. So does that come through right there? Is that seeable? Okay, I wasn't sure if you could see it. He was telling me earlier when I could see it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Speak a little bit loud.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to get closer. So. Right. So on our solutions that this is from old shows, but again, we mentioned if you're looking at in the electronics world, if you're looking at an office, you're looking at an apartment complex specifically, you have different locks for different areas. So for a commonly used common area like a laundry area or an office, E-Elite lock is the go-to lock. Again, sleek design, lightweight on the door, 4 AA batteries, 2.5-year battery lifespan, standard 161 prep, grade 1, UL fire rated. For the price, nothing comes close. And then let's say if you're moving on to the next part of the facility, which may be an apartment or a condo, If they have a deadbolt now, they want to switch to something electronic, the eGenius, which again I don't have with me, which has the deadbolt. It's an interconnected lock. So you make one motion on the back, one motion egress, and it unlocks the deadbolt, and it unlocks the patch set of the lock. Townsteel has the patent on when you walk out of the door and close it, and you pull up on the handle, the deadbolt locks. It's a Townsteel patent that we have. I was surprised at how big of a deal that was. I didn't realize when I started in the industry that that would be such a big deal. People love that. If the property is, again, if it's commercial or if it's a mortise type property, mortise locks on the property, usually just apartments or hotels. The e-contos that I mentioned earlier, the 1A, and then we have the escutcheon e-contos, and then we have the sectional. It's basically an aesthetics thing. So you have the sectional reader where the reader's up here and the handle's down here, and you've got the nice pretty door between it. Or you have the e-contos where you have the escutcheon itself covering up, and that's usually for renovations, and it's usually to cover up any work that's been done with the door, depending on what's had to be done at the door in the past. So mostly for hotels and condominiums, sometimes for apartments, but that's usually in the Northeast or in the Southwest. So, and again, to control all of our electronic locks, you have standard keypad, 4 to 6 digits. We have an app you can use for entry. Again, on all of these, especially the app specifically, but everything keeps up with everything at the door. So any kind of an audit trail, people are looking for being able to know what happens at the door, like we mentioned earlier. The reason people have electronic locks and security is to secure their facility, but to know exactly what's going on at the door. And we've worked through many years of different types of software, different types of credentials, talking to multiple types of end users, from hospitals to apartments. We work with locksmiths all over the country, so they're working with them as far as getting their feedback of what they think will make the most sense. We try to design our locks that way, all of our hardware. We may have touched on it earlier, but for the electronic deadbolt, this is the backside that goes on the backside of the door. This goes on the front, the standard deadbolt, where the deadbolt, the standard deadbolt prep. This would go in where the deadbolt goes, as you can see, prepped for it. And this goes on the backside. This is the battery pack and the reader. You marry up like this when you install them. The jumpers come through, so that connects your electronics. That's it, just one cable. It's really simple. Again, if you're installing this on a standard door where there's been a deadbolt, there's 2 drill holes in the chassis right here. You put it on the door, average of 15 minutes, 20-minute installation per door. It's got the standard deadbolt throw here. The batteries go right here where it says Townsteel on the sticker. So that's what it looks like when you take it out of the box before you put it on. And standard deadbolt prep. You have the keypad, and again, you have the mechanical key override. Another huge, extremely important. It's one of the main things when we designed the electronic deadbolt. 2 things. Our deadbolt has a motor and not a cylinder, so it's motorized, which means that you're going to get more of a push if maybe the door's not closed all the way, or there's maybe something doesn't line up a little bit, or there's warping or something happens. The motorized deadbolt's still going to push through. You present your credential, it throws the deadbolt. You present your credential, it pulls the deadbolt back and latches it. But all of our electronic deadbolts have the mechanical key override. A lot of the other electronic deadbolts out there have taken that ability away. So it gives peace of mind to the resident. It gives peace of mind to the property management company, or whoever may be owning the property. They can always get into their meetings. So. All of our electronic locks come with either the rigid or clutched function. So depending on what's wanted, some people want the rigid handle. You can't move it until it's unlocked. You have others that want the clutched version, where you can't tell if it's locked or not. You just know that you can't get in. So rigid versus clutched, and that's something that UHS can help you with when you're ordering as far as the part number goes. So clutched, free motion, even though it's locked, and then a rigid handle, so you know that it's locked. And of course, as I mentioned, the mechanical key override is always available to unlock the door. And as I mentioned earlier, as far as Townsteel's Max Access platform, which is for multifamily, residential type applications, condos or whatnot, we offer security for every aspect of the property. So you have your apartment door. Let's use apartments. You have your apartment door, where you would use the eGenius or the eSmart Deadbolt, either one. You have your common access areas, your laundry room, your fitness center where you put the Elite Lock. You may have an area where you have exit devices, a panic bar. We make the exit devices the panic bars. We also make the electronic trim that goes on the outside, where you can present a credential or put a key code in to get out. And we also have a fully scalable access control system. We actually have RS-485 readers, door control boards, we have elevator control boards, we have a full platform of access control. So we can secure every aspect of the facility, property, whatever it may be, from top to bottom. And it's a fully proprietary system as well. So when you work with UHS, you get the Townsteel, the Townsteel locks, the Townsteel system, you actually own it. As opposed to a lot of our competition where you're really buying their software and you don't really even own their locks. It's always something to check into.
So you're a rep or you from Townsteel?
Sir?
You're a rep?
I'm the Vice President of Sales for multi-housing.
I'm a buyer.
Oh, very good. Yes, sir. Very nice.
So I speak with Maria.
Very good, yes. Yeah, Maria's fantastic. So. Very good. Yeah, I was out there last week. So it's funny, I've been with Townsteel for a little over about 2.5 years. And it's still funny when I go out there and they're still, because I live in Dallas. And they're like, who are you again? I'm like, oh, Ricky, Vice President of Multi-Housing. It's kind of funny.
What division? Sorry.
Multi-housing. Yeah, so multi-housing and institutional basically. Pretty much electronic locks will fall under mine. So the way we've structured the company now, we have a multi-housing division, which I'm in control of. And that includes commercial type properties. We have behavioral health, which is our ligature resistant line of locks. That's what we're most known for that. Very good. Yep. So we have that's what we're known for that. I was leading with that earlier. Our 3-point and our 5-point. We have the patent on the R channel. That's ours. The Joint Commission has stated that in the next 2 years, every hospital in the country that has behavioral health clinic has to go to a 5-point ligature resistant lock. And Marks has one as well. So it's a 5-point arch handle. I wish I had one to show you. A 5-point arch handle ligature resistant. So if you
it's like a lever.
It slides down.
Oh, it just slides down.
Yeah. So if you've seen we have that. It looks like a cone.
I'm sorry, am I interrupting your production?
This is perfect. You're fine. This is good.
Okay.
It's good because we get to chat. Appreciate it.
Am I getting paid for this? Well, technically I am.
So with the ligature resistant line of locks, there's the 3 points of ligature resistance and 5 points, which is the anti-suicide. It's the how many capabilities can we take away from someone being able to harm themselves. So Dennis Ma, our president, came up with the arch handle concept. So it's an arch handle, and you slide it down. It's flush to the door, and it's 5-point ligature resistance, so that they've taken away 5 points. The standard one that you see that Marks has and we all have, it looks like a knob coming out like this with a small lever on it.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at it and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's going to be good for bass. And the first thing is, how do you grip it?
Oh, you mean the arch handle?
Because it seems like, it's kind of that triangulish, that angle in, so
right.
You can get hooked rope to it.
Yep.
So
that's why that was going away.
Okay, because it's that's
the TRX, and that's the one that's on the specs right now, and it's going to the MRX, which is Townsteel's MRX, and that's the one that's the arch handle that you just have to push it down. You can grip it and pull it down, but it's just a push down 5 points, because like you said, you're exactly right. When I started with Townsteel, I was like, hey, that's got a lever on it, and you could get something underneath it, and it's a weird conical shape. And they were having lots of problems in rehabilitation centers with those. So they came to us, and Dennis came up with this new configuration, and they said, we like it. So now in the next 2 years, all hospitals will be going to the 5.
So you've already launched this?
Yes, sir.
I did on your website and take a look at this stuff.
Yeah,
because I don't have any anti-lift.
Really?
So I was supposed to do it last week, but things came.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
That's the next thing on my list.
And in fact, so I mentioned we restructured earlier. So Mike Dawson used to be the vice president of sales for Townsteel. He retired, came back a couple months ago, and he's just managing the behavioral health. He was responsible for working with Dennis Ma, our president and CEO, to design this ligature resistant product that we have, which is, like I was saying earlier, it's how people know us, our ligature resistant. So we've had that for about 5 years. But when the Joint Commission came to Dennis, they were like, we need you to fix this. He came up with the arch handle, which you'll see, the Xce Lock. And that's, it's becoming, it is the standard, and it will become the law. And again, Marks has one that's similar. Their swings left and right. It moves like a lever, and they've had complaints because you can, I think it's still, ours is flush to the door, goes straight up and down.
Interesting. We can go check that out now. I'm going to get back.
Oh, you're good. Nice to meet you. Thanks so much. Yeah, appreciate it. Never a dull moment. And with all of Townsteel's hardware, we have, again, multiple lever styles. Check out our website. You can find it through UHS Hardware's website as well. Multiple lever styles, multiple color options. I'm trying to think of what I need this. Yeah, the weather resistant. I mentioned the weather resistance of our locks, how they're made. Helps my shape. A question I get a lot that I could actually bring up is, how do you secure the battery pack if somebody's coming around, somebody tries to mess with your door? Standard Torx 6-pin Torx screw secures it in proprietary. I actually get that question more than I would think. People ask that all the time. So. Grade 1, I think I mentioned that, our locks are grade 1 UL 90-minute listed, 3-hour fire rating on our locks. Sure, our new logo too. We have a new design for our logo. I don't know if that shows up or not. But we'll be adjusting our website to it soon. So, okay. Perfect. Yeah. Perfection and protection. So rebranding after everything else is going on. Any questions, anything you run across with anything, Townsteel UHS is fantastic. I trust these guys immensely to handle any concerns, anything that comes up. When I mentioned I work with end users and I work with property management companies and military bases, and UHS, these guys are my go-to for our company whenever we need something to have involved. So, very, very good. Remember BHI, DHI, so BHI, BHMA, I mentioned that earlier. We have a seat on the board of directors of the Building Harbor Manufacturers Association. That's hugely important for us. So when it comes to design, we are one of the most respected architectural hardware manufacturers in the world. BHMA and ANSI sitting on the board, we're able to have a say with some of the other larger manufacturers, which has been hugely important for us, and it's been good for the industry. Our founder and our president, Dennis Ma, again, 35 years now at Townsteel, literally changing the face of the industry. Again, as we mentioned earlier, continuing with our ligature-resistant line of locks. That's something, again, that we're known for. If you've heard of us, you've probably heard of us in behavioral health. And that's because of the design factor, because of the BHMA seat on the board of directors with Ernie Mitchell. We're able to be an important part of the future of design. And I mentioned it earlier, but we have the interconnected lock, which is the most important lock that I deal with in my world. It's the interconnected deadbolt. It's interconnected with a passage set for one motion egress. But the other important thing is that this is our electronic version, but we also have a mechanical version. You do have the mechanical key override. If there's they want to, they will still be able to get in with the key or not. But you do have the mechanical key override, and then we do have a mechanical interconnected lock as well. So if you run across residential applications where they want to have a one-motion egress or they want to secure their door, they want to have the deadbolt and the passage set, Townsteel's interconnected lock is the best on the market. It's patented for multiple functionalities. Something else that we don't have here that I've mentioned it a few times, that Townsteel is known for our mortise locks. And actually the mortise pockets. Townsteel has a product called the Rejuvenator. And the Rejuvenator is a mortise lock that, with the design, let's say you have a hotel. We'll use a hotel for an example, and they have they have Corbin Russell mortise locks on the door right now, and they like their locks, but they want to change out the mortise pocket in the door. Maybe the lock itself is old. So the Townsteel Rejuvenator, with certain lines of mortise locks, you can take out you can leave the escutcheon and everything on the door, take out the mortise lock itself, put in the Townsteel Rejuvenator, and it's like having a lock. As long as the hardware and everything on the lock itself is good, the levers and the knobs and everything are good, you can change out that mortise lock. And again, that's why it's called the Rejuvenator. It's like getting there are certain styles you'd have to that we can work with. You just call UHS, let us know what you're looking for, what application you have, or what type of lock it was in the past. Sometimes it saves a lot of money. People that don't want to change out every lock on their property, they find out they can just change out the mortise itself. Can save hundreds of thousands of dollars. Get the green light showing you that it's good. That's that. That's saying it's not good. There's something else I could talk about. With our electronic locks, with Townsteel's electronic locks, the reader, the communication boards, the Bluetooth, BLE, the Wi-Fi reader, everything is in the back on our E-Elite lock. So that also protects it. We mentioned the weatherproofing earlier. You have your reader here through the jumpers that I was showing you earlier. One is for power, one is for communication. So when you're running this to the door and you plug it in, communication, power, and with the reader on the backside, or the reader, sorry, the information on the backside keeps it safe from any vandalism, keeps it safe from, again, the elements, if there's any kind of a weather concern or element issue. Having on the backside makes a difference. Also, on our electronic locks, there are Rex sensors and door position switches built in. So if you're doing spec work or if you're doing standard work at the door, your request to exit and the door position switch and DPS sensors are built into our locks. Also, with each one of our electronic locks, we have the capability to be Wi-Fi, or you can do it again Bluetooth Low Energy. Those things are also built into the board, and depending on when you decide to go to one of our locks, and you say, okay, I want to wirelessly connect my electronic locks. So when you do that, it's something we activate on our boards. So you have the option of being Wi-Fi or being standalone as well. It's built into our electronic locks. We have you can control the door using, you can get into the control access by using the Townsteel app. There are multiple types of credentials you can use, whether it's a sticker or a fob, or the actual phone itself can be used with the near field communication, BLE, NFC communication, depending on what application, what the end user or the property requests. This is a good example of if you decide, if you get one of our Townsteel locks, we put on the box everything that's in here, and these are our standard colors. The handing, the standard handing, right hand, left hand, and then of course the back sets. So everything is marked out when it comes out to you. And again, we do have multiple colors. These are just the ones that are the most standard that are listed. So everything that comes in, the lock, mechanical keys, 2 RFID cards, 2 RFID stickers, like we mentioned, a spanner to help you with getting the handle off and on, the outside lock assembly with the outside lever and cylinder, the inside lever, screw pack, door template if you need to put a template over the door, installation guide that comes with the 4 AA batteries. And that's for the E-Elite. Same thing on the Deadbolt, electronic Deadbolt. All of our hardware comes with a stamp. Installation guide, thanks. Actually a goalie, believe it or not. I play soccer, so I actually haven't lost anything in the suit. It comes with a guide, shows you how to program it. Everything you would need to do this by yourself, if someone's having you do this by yourself. The installation guides, very self-explanatory. Everything you need to do the job yourself. That's the template. I'm sure you've seen those before. You need to put it in the I'm at the point now where I could just start telling crazy installation stories. What else to go over? Another important thing about Townsteel Electronics is that we're not new to this. I get that a lot. I'll do presentations for again, properties or property management companies or military. It took us years to get into the military, but once we got in, you're looking at 35 years of ingenuity put into our electronics. It's something that we're not new to. We've been an OEM manufacturer for some of the largest names in electronic locks, multi-housing, commercial locks. We've been doing OEM products for those guys for 20 years now, 20 plus years. So, as I mentioned earlier, with the BHMA, having a seat on the board of directors, we've been able to take that and actually fine-tune it with the engineering. Dennis Ma, Ernie Mitchell, the guys we have backing our engineering to create these sleek, grade 1, well-designed products with 10-year warranty. We're making a big splash in multi-housing. I'm working with multiple extremely large property management companies around the country where they're looking at the Townsteel offering and realizing that's the way they want to go in the future. The fact that we can secure every aspect of the property, every aspect of whether it's the perimeter access with our access control platform, exit devices, exit trim, unit doors, common access areas, the software, the app. And the best part of all of it is it's a grade 1 product. It is a grade 1, most heavy-duty ANSI product you can get on the market for maybe a fifth of the cost of what you would see from our competition. That's the other thing. People think low cost and low quality, and that's just not the case at all. So I get that question a lot.
Where are the locks made?
Sorry?
Where are they made?
The locks are made in California.
in California.
Yeah.
And are there any tutorials for installing?
Are there any
tutorials for installing?
Yes, so we have videos. I just showed the silly book that we have. We have the installation packet. We have our certified installer program. If someone wants to become a certified installer, they can go to our website and sign up to do that. They can also do it through UHS, I believe, which is the best way to do it. But yeah, that comes with the catalogs. We have videos. We have videos we've created. There are videos on YouTube. So yeah.
Is there any discounts for large purchases?
There are. Everything that we do is volume based. As far as from distribution standpoint, that's for you guys. I'm speaking out of turn. From a manufacturer standpoint, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're back. You want to continue? You want to take over? There's some questions here that.
So I've covered just about everything I can with Townsteel today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thanks to UHS for giving me the chance to come down and tell our side of the story. Please go to UHShardware.com, look at their website. Again, anything that you buy from Townsteel through UHS is 10% off. And what I always tell people is that maybe you've heard of this, maybe you haven't, but once you give it a try, you see the ease of use, and you see the technology, and you see the ingenuity and how well made of a product that it is. We haven't had anybody that hasn't come back and asked for more. So give us a shot. Do your research. Look us up. Townsteel.com. My name is Ricky Green. I'm the Vice President of multi-housing, Vice President of Sales for multi-housing and institutional locks. And again, UHShardware.com. These guys are fantastic. They've been with me since I started here. So anything you need, feel free to come see them. 10% off. Thanks.
I know the 14, 13, 13.